Hey all, it's Danny the Dev here. I wanted to do something a little bit different because, in case you hadn't noticed, the videos I make take a long time to do. There's a lot of work that goes into them. So I wanted to do something that helps me keep more favourable in the YouTube algorithms because, yeah, I'm not quite experienced at this yet, so I thought I'd just take the opportunity to make a few videos where I just kind of rattle off my thoughts. And yeah, just talk about things that I don't normally get a chance to talk about. I do quite a bit of streaming, so a lot of these thoughts come from my Twitch streams. And if you like this kind of content, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you don't like this kind of content, leave me a comment telling me that you don't, and I'll try really hard to make more of those illustrated ones. But yeah, they don't do that well, so hopefully this will boost the signal a bit. So today I really wanted to talk about Guilty Gear Strive, a game that's quite old, but I say quite old, it's what, 4 years old now? 4 years old, yeah. And it's a game that I saw when it came out, and it looked really cool. I was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ at the time, so I didn't really give it much thought, but I actually bought it about a month ago, and it's really good. So I just wanted to talk about Guilty Gear Strive, because it's such an unusual game. So I really got into Guilty Gear a few months ago. Actually, it was about almost 2 years ago at this point, when I started listening to the soundtrack of Strive, and it took me a while to get into. Yeah, I'm starting by talking about the soundtrack to Guilty Gear, which, I mean, if you've heard the Guilty Gear soundtrack, is not really much of a surprise. The Guilty Gear Strive soundtrack, which initially I thought this sounds pretty rough. Like, a lot of the... When I listen to vocal tracks, one of the things that I really pick up on is, like, the rhythm of the lyrics. Crush 40, the band that does the Sonic tracks, are, like, masters of this. They will use words that really kind of flow. And Guilty Gear kind of doesn't do that, but it gives the pieces such a unique texture. And that really caught on to me. It very quickly became apparent to me that Guilty Gear is the series that's all about kind of doing your own thing. It's just got this very strong aesthetic to it. And yeah, obviously if you've seen Strive, you'll know that it's got a strong aesthetic, alright. And then I started like checking out, Guilty Gear Strive is not the first Guilty Gear game, obviously. It's the last, in fact, until they make another one. And Guilty Gear has been around since 1998. That's a long time ago, and it was released on the PS1. It wasn't even arcade, because, you know, back in the day, if you didn't have a fighting game on an arcade, was it really a fighting game? And it's astonishing to me that Guilty Gear actually did as well as it did in 1998, because this was the same time that Street Fighter 3 was really suffering. Like, Street Fighter 3 was not doing well, and that was an arcade game, and that was released on, like, so many different systems, home consoles. Guilty Gear was just released on a single system. It was just PS1. And it was really just, like, one guy, too. And yeah, he just kind of went crazy with it. Like, the original Guilty Gear is kind of crazy. And you could get the original Guilty Gear on Switch. I strongly considered it, but then I was like, Strive is on Steam, and it's on offer, and it's probably a better game. Like, the original Guilty Gear Missing Link is absolutely crazy. Like, I have a PS2, a PlayStation 2, so if I wanted to, I could get, like, a physical copy of Missing Link, and I think that would be awesome, but I'll probably wait for that. I just realised it's 5 minutes into the recording and I've not actually talked about what I really like about Strive. So yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about Strive, because Strive is a very, very fun game. I've come from Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I've come from Street Fighter. Those are the fighting games that I've really put time into and actually played. So I've got a strong background in, like, anime fighting games. I got really good at Dragon Ball FighterZ. I was top 500 in the world at one point. Certainly not anymore. But Strive is a completely different beast. It does feel it feels much closer to Street Fighter than it does to an anime game, because what Strive has is a very rudimentary yet free-form combo system. And what I mean by that is, in Dragon Ball FighterZ you can do a lot of move cancelling. You can cancel normals into other normals, and then normals into specials, and then lots of things into supers. That's, fairly standard fare for an anime fighting game. But with Strive, your options to cancel are so much more limited. You can cancel. You have 4 buttons, so you've got your punch, your kick, your slash, and your heavy slash, and then you've also got a dust button. I don't know why it's called dust, but either way, there's very limited options. If you do close slash, where you're really close to the opponent and hit the slash button, that cancels into a lot of different things. Many options will cancel into like forward heavy slash, or 6P, not 6P, 6H, as it's also known as. This leads to some fairly short combos by like fighting game standards. Like, even if you look at like Street Fighter 4 combos, or Street Fighter 6 combos, those can go on for a long time. But Guilty Gear Strive combos are often quite short and punchy, and I do kind of like that. But then, the combos aren't always the same either. Like, in Street Fighter 6, your combos are always just like, hit button, drive rush cancel, hit other button, and then maybe go into an ender, or do another drive rush cancel. And that will kind of be your bread and butter combo, no matter what. But with Strive, for example, if you hit someone with an anti-air, or with a counter hit, it opens up like entirely new combo routes, because moves will have different properties in different situations. So, for example, one of the characters I've been playing is Bridget. Bridget's amazing. And she has a crouch heavy slash that is pretty... It's not unique, I don't think, but it has a very interesting property in that it only launches the opponent under certain conditions. So if they're in the air, it'll launch them. Or if you hit them with a close slash first, then it'll launch them. But if you just hit them with it raw, then it won't hit them. It won't launch them. It'll hit them, but it won't launch them. And this can lead to some very interesting combo routes. But it also means that your combo starter determines, the flow of the combo. It means that it will determine the anti-air. It will, if you hit your opponent with like an anti-air or a counter hit, because Strive, much like a lot of other common fighting games, a lot of other modern fighting games has that property where counter hits have more hit stun, which I always really like, because it leads to a much more dynamic feeling combo system, and a much more stressful neutral too. There's something that I've yet to master. Like, I've been playing online quite a bit with Strive. I've been taken to the ladder, and there are players who I can beat regularly, but they have much better combo games than me. They know how to properly confirm their moves, and I'm just hitting the same old combos over and over, and trying for like cheeky resets, block stun pressure, things like that. So yeah, the online on Strive is extremely good. Like, it's got really good rollback, which basically means you're even online in only okay internet situations, you've still got like a really good connection, really low input latency. It's spectacular, of course. And while we're on the topic of things that are spectacular, I just gotta gush about the art style. Like, this game, okay, there are elements to this game that I don't like. Like, there are cutscenes in the arcade mode, and they look not good. Like, I'm pretty sure Street Fighter 2 put more effort into their cutscenes, but I think when you're actually in the fight, or even during like the intro cutscenes, like the cutscenes that play when you first load up a match, those cutscenes look really good, and they're pretty badass too. I like some of the character interactions. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of research into Guilty Gear, into the lore before I jumped into Strive. I don't know everything, but I know enough, I think. And speaking of the lore, there's a full movie in there as well. I don't know why there's a full movie. I guess Arxis just couldn't be bothered to make a campaign, and I think that's a real shame, because I really like good fighting game campaigns. I really like the Street Fighter 2 kind of arcade, and then you get a bit of storyline at the end. Street Fighter 4 was like peak for me, honestly. It's like, you got a little bit of story at the beginning, then you got a moment with a rival. It's usually decently well animated cutscenes, lovely, well written, and then you get an ending. I love those little things. And I think with Street Fighter 6 especially, like Street Fighter 6 has this whole massive open world kind of campaign thing, and while I think the execution is a bit I really do appreciate it. And Guilty Gear, like Strive came before Street Fighter 6, so not fully holding that accountable or anything. I really hope going forward that we just see more fighting games with campaigns. Maybe something I'll talk about later. Back to Strive. But yeah, instead of like a campaign where you play as the hero characters and go through a bunch of boss fights, you just watch cutscenes, like for an hour straight. And you get, I mean, then at least nicely animated cutscenes for a video game. Yeah, I went there. Like, video games are not gonna have as good animations as full budget movies. That's just something we gotta expect. But yeah, the single player content in Strive is a bit lacking, just to put it mildly, because you've got the arcade mode, which, yeah, it's an arcade mode, and we'll get to that in a second. You've got a survival mode, which is cool. You just keep beating up people until you die. And then, yeah, you've got training mode. There's like combo search, which I haven't really dabbled into. There's combo stuff. Should probably have a look at that, but I mean, that's not proper single player content. That's just, yeah, that's just telling you more about the game that you're already playing. Yeah, let's talk about these single player modes, because I've got a bone to pick with them. First of all, survival. Survival's cool. The only problem is that it's only one-stop battles. Like, each opponent only has one stop, and every time you do it, you've got to sit through the ending sequence, got to get graded, and then you got to go through a load screen. And the load screens on Guilty Gear are not terrible, but that's only because I've got a really good PC. Yeah, they're still annoying. Like, I do wish that there was like a longer load screen at the start, and it was more just like bam, 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 where you're just fighting people in a row. You could put like 5 people in a row, then move to a load screen, and then that would probably work just fine. It would certainly make everything quite a bit smoother. And then you've got arcade mode, and arcade mode is almost like kind of standard, although it does the weird fighting game thing where if you're fighting on parity with the opponent, like if you're actually being challenged, the game will say, oh no, this is clearly too hard for you, we've got to drop the difficulty. It's like, bro, I was having fun, I'm being challenged, let me be challenged. Yeah, it works about the same. It works in a very basic way, the difficulty. You start on hard, you meet your rival, and then you fight them, and then for every match you win without losing a round, you go up to the tier above, and then if you lose a round, you drop down to hard. And then if you... I don't really understand it. Basically, I was on hard or extreme the entire time. Basically. But it really matters for, like, the ending bosses, because if you don't drop a round for all 8 rounds, or 6 rounds, or however many rounds it is, you fight your rival at the end of the route, then you'll get Daredevil. And I don't know what Daredevil means, because you just fight your rival anyway. And then after that, you'll team up with your rival to fight a powerful boss character, which is normally Nagoriyuki. He actually makes a lot of sense, because he's kind of badass, and he's got this big-ass sword that allows him to fight 2 people at once, very effectively. But if you actually beat every single match up to that point, and you don't drop a single round, then you will fight the boss character, who has, like, 5 times the health and triple damage. You'll fight them by yourself. And that's pretty rough, but it gets worse. It gets worse because with some characters, I don't know if this was with all characters, but it happened with Sin. With Sin, I was able to beat the entirety of arcade mode all the way up to the final fight, which is Kai Kisuke, and I didn't drop a single round throughout the whole thing, even against Kai, even against superpowered Kai. And Kai was like, alright, now I'm gonna hit you with frickin' Dragon Install permanently. Also, I'm still 5 times damage. And, oh my god. These bosses with the amped up attacks are some of the most unfair things I've ever played. They are some of the most unfair things in fighting games I've ever played. And I've played against Third Strike Gil. I've played against, you know, Seth and Akuma and Gouken in Street Fighter 4. These are not fair. I've played against the raid bosses in fighters. I've seen some unfair single-player stuff, but this is on a whole other level. Permanent Dragon install Kai Kisuke is just absolutely brutal, because he can special cancel everything. He can reverse beat, which is where you go from a heavier button to a lighter button. Most characters can't cancel at all, but he can reverse beat, and then he can like infinitely chain his 6k forever. He's got mix-ups for days. He can cancel his special moves into other special moves. It's insane. And he's got like block string pressure, he's got really good meaty options, and if he ever clips you with a move, he will do super into super and obliterate you instantly. No, I'm not kidding. He will hit you with crouch kick, which is 5 frames and has really good range and is a low, and then he will immediately go super, and then he will go super, and then you will die. You will lose 70% of your health from a single button. I don't like it. But even he is nothing compared to Nagoriyuki. If you're fighting Nagoriyuki by yourself, you are not going to have a good time, because Nagoriyuki it's basically for one single move. Like, Nagoriyuki as a boss character is basically like, it's just the character, but cranked up to 11. So he's still got his crazy, like, near full screen normals, great anti-airs, he will keep you out forever. But in the arcade mode, as a boss, he has access to probably the most bullshit move I've ever seen. And that is, I don't even know what the move's called, but it's like this upward slash followed by this downward slash. Problem is that in arcade mode, this move is frame 1 invincible. Yeah, that's right, this is frame 1 invincible. So he can just throw this move out. If you're doing anything, you get hit. If you're not doing anything, this move is a normal, so it's special cancelable. Yeah, that's right, it's a frame 1 normal move. Frame 1 invincible normal. Yeah. And because it's special cancelable, he could go into his dash, which crosses you up. Yeah, he can just mess you up. If he wants to go for DP, he will go for DP, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't safe jump it, because it hits twice, and is cancelable. There's no baiting it out. Just like, even if he just throws it out raw, like, the pushback and the recovery is so good that you can't punish it. You just straight up can't punish it. The only thing that you can do against either of these bosses is just wait for them to do something stupid. Like, that's really it. And that's a problem for someone like me who's very patient. But yeah, I always kind of hated bosses like that, where it's like, they clearly have they clearly have skills that you could never have, and they abuse those skills, and that's why they win. And the only reason you don't win is because they stop abusing those skills. Anyway, I've gone through 20 minutes of talking now, at least according to the timer, and I haven't actually talked about how the game feels to play. Like, I talked a bit about the combo system, but yeah, I mean, I said before, this game feels a lot like Street Fighter to play. It's very fundamentals based. You've got a lot of footsies. Every character has a guaranteed anti-air, and air dashes are a thing, but they're slow, like there's a delay to them. Very used to Dragon Ball FighterZ where you can air dash very quickly, and it gives you every character gets some good mix-ups off of that, but almost every character in Strive, apart from Millia, I believe, has a very laggy air dash, which is, it means that you still have an option for getting in, especially against opponents who aren't ready for it. But yeah, that coupled with forward punch, 6P, being upper body invincible, so they can just punch you out of the sky every time if they're ready for it. Yeah, that's a bit rough. Funnily enough, I haven't committed 6P to muscle memory yet. I've played the game for well over 30 hours at this point, and I still default to DP. Like, I play Kai, not Kai. I play Sin Kisuke, and I play Soul Bad Guy, and I'm DPing them every time. I would rather do that than 6P, and yeah, 6P is just better objectively in like every situation, but I don't know, it's muscle memory, man. I play Street Fighter. I see someone jumping in, I want to DP them. So movement is interesting in this game. It's, funnily enough, movement indirectly encourages you to retreat a lot, because your backdash is really good. Your backdash is frame 1 invincible, and then you've got air backdash, which is much faster than air forward dash. it feels weird because this game is clearly wanting you to go forward because, yeah, it gives you meter for going forward. And if you don't go forward enough, it starts putting you into like this kind of negative mode where you just lose meter constantly. And if you go forward enough, you get positive where it continuously rises. So this game wants you to push forward while also making it really easy to go backwards, which is so super interesting. And it's gonna bring me on to my next point, which is the hecking Zona characters. Like, if you look at Guilty Gear, and if you look at Guilty Gear Strive, and if you just look at the release characters, like, all of these characters are very, they're very kind of mobile-ish, balance fighters. They don't really have projectiles. You have Kai's, like, projectile, which is kind of slow. It's really only there to, like, it's really only there to get him in. And then you've got Soul's Gunflame, which is just kind of more of a mid-screen poke tool that allows him to set up some very strong block strings. So it's, yeah, these are advancing tools. But the moment you start looking at the DLC characters and you start looking at, yeah, Happy Chaos and actually, what's his name? Asuka? That man, the guy with the flower eye with wings. I don't know. And he's a very heavy zoning character. I can't even remember if he's actually DLC or not. He might not be. And then you get, what was I thinking? Which literally, I just had them in my head. Dizzy, that's right. Dizzy is this like crazy zoning character. I mean, she's not that good, but she's still obnoxious. And like none of these characters, I've looked at tier lists, and right now none of these characters are like anything broken or anything. But they are so frustrating to play against because, like I said, forward movement in this game is pretty difficult. You can jump block, which is fine, but these projectiles typically have a lot of pushback. It's also surprisingly difficult to like cancel dashes into blocks, something that I'm really I'm really not used to. Again, going back to Dragon Ball FighterZ, if you do an air dash, you can immediately start blocking again. So you have that option to like push forward while blocking. That's not really a thing in Guilty Gear. If you do an air dash in Guilty Gear, you are stuck in the animation for a good while. So if they just do another projectile, you just get hit by it. And then goddamn Happy Chaos. Like, if he hits you with a projectile, which, by the way, tracks and is full screen and is instantaneous, he can combo off of it if he's close enough. So he can just take you all the way to the corner, do good damage, and hit you with a super that puts you in a hard knockdown state. And, yeah, like I said, I've been playing fighting games for years, a long time. I've done really well in some of them. I fought Guile in 3D edition. that guy was obnoxious, but this might take the cake. This might be the most obnoxious character I've ever had to play against in my life. At least that's human controlled. I don't know, I think it is just a skill issue. I know I should do better against the zoning character, but it's tough, you know? I've barely started, and these people, I don't know how much experience they have, because some of them I beat quite easily. And many of these other DLC characters also are not. Let's talk about Gold Lewis. Let's talk about the man who has a coffin on a chain and he swings it, and it's bloody annoying. Because he has some ranged options too. Why not? Just, yeah, heck it. Make the Grappler Rushdown character a Zona 2. Why not? Got Z Broly flashback vibes. Gold Lewis is just, he's just the heavyweight. You know, you rush him down, he dies. You don't rush him down, you die. I can't complain about it too much, I suppose. Although I can complain about his Frame 1 Invincible Super. Like, what the heck is that? Why are we giving the character with... the character who's supposed to be bad when he's under pressure, why are we giving him a Frame 1 Invincible Reversal? I don't care that it costs a bar, that's still dumb. Haven't played against much Potemkin yet. I hear he's pretty stupid. I've only messed around with him a little in the training mode. Dealt a lot of damage. He feels very complicated to play, which is funny. I play a lot of grapplers, like I mean Zangief in Street Fighter, because he's funny. Zangief's a very uncomplicated character in Street Fighter. You just gotta try and get in. Yeah, at least in theory, he's uncomplicated. In practice, there's a lot of nuance to it, because, you know, you gotta know when to approach and when not to. You gotta be very patient. But with Potemkin, it feels like it's the opposite. Or it's like you have so many moves to master. You have so many different moves to master, and then it's the neutral that's the easy bit. It's the playing against the opponent that's the easy bit. Once you've mastered all the tech, you just, slide head, flick, Kara command throw, do the stupid combos. I don't really like Potemkin, at least in concept, because he's just missing on a lot of the stuff that makes Guilty Gear fun for me, like the chaining normals, some of the chaining normals, and the unique combo structures, and the movement as well. Like, Guilty Gear movement is limited, but I think that makes it pretty fun in its own way. Like, you have a myriad of options, but, like, not all of them are perfect. You've got an air dash, but it's slow. You've got forward dash, but it's a bit laggy. You've got a back dash that's really good, but it doesn't get you in. Who else is annoying? Who else do I want to complain about? Honestly, let's talk about some characters that I do like. So I've been playing Sin Kisuke. He's my most recent pickup. My third main so far. And I really like Sin because he does not have a projectile. He is a very simple rushdown character. He gets in and he bops, and he's pretty fun. I like Sin because he has a very interesting and also very simple mechanic. His mechanic is stamina, and it's kind of like EX moves, but just for him. Yeah, Guilty Gear Strive doesn't have EX moves. In fact, none of the Guilty Gear games do, which I always found a bit odd. But not every fighting game needs EX moves. So, but Sin basically does have them, and he has like turbocharged. He starts with 3 bars. He starts with 3 stamina bars. Whenever he does one of his specials, he can spend one of these bars to do a follow-up. So all of his special moves have these unique follow-ups, but they can also all be cancelled into this dash. And this is what makes Sin crazy, because these special moves, if you don't spend bar, they're pretty bad. They have good reach, they have good damage, but they are very unsafe. But if you spend the bar, if you spend the stamina and get the follow-up, now you're positive. You are wildly positive, and it's a guard break too. So if you Roman cancel, which is this very cool mechanic where you just kind of cancel whatever it is you're doing and slow the opponent down. You Roman cancel, and then you just get a free combo, and your opponent can't do anything about it. It's kind of stupid thinking about it. No, actually, I changed my mind. I don't like this mechanic. Or at least I don't. I like the mechanic. I don't like the guard break aspect of it. I think Roman cancel for plus frames is fine. Roman cancel for a free combo is kind of stupid. Especially since, like I said, Sin doesn't have projectile. He just wants to get in, so he's just always building bar anyway. So he will always have the bar for a Roman cancel, and then a super. He's got some fun combos though. He's got some pretty simple combos, but they're fun. I like his super too, which is kind of silly. I think a lot of players I've been going up against have been playing a lot of gimmicky characters, or characters that just want to run in and spam buttons. So having a DP is like a godsend. I remember playing against the Chip recently, and we were just trading DPs back and forth. He'd rush me down, I'd DP, I'd rush him down back, he'd DP. Eventually I figured out to block and evade it, but it took an embarrassingly long time. Oh my god, Chip. I don't mind Chip so much, but I do have a bone to pick with his super, which is like extremely fast. It feels like it's frame 1 and it's full screen, and it's like, what the heck is this? And it's 1 bar too. I don't know why it's 1 bar. Why is it 1 bar? It feels like something like that should be 2 bars. I like Soul Bad Guy. let's just jump into. I love Soul Bad Guy. He's fun. He's a character who's not really trying to do much unfair stuff. He's got a DP. He's got an overhead. He's got gun flame. He's got gun flame! Sorry about that. He's got a funny super. He's got a level 2 super, which is like a full screen command grab that obliterates half your health. Easy to jump though. It's not Raging Demon, I'll tell you that much. He's got the... So, every close slash, almost every close slash in the game, I'm pretty sure it's every close slash, but almost every close slash in the game is plus on block, which means that you can stagger it. Yeah, you can cancel it, but you could also just not, and then take your turn again. But Soul's Far Slash, which is a much better move, is also plus on block. And I think that's very funny, because you can just kind of push this button over and over and over, and sometimes your opponents will just sit there and not want to do anything. I think that's very funny. Yeah, I love these characters. And then there's Bridget. Bridget was my first main, and probably a character I'm not going to go back to with Sin and Soul. But I do like her a lot. She's very funny. She's got great like range pressure. She's got really silly long range normals. Doesn't do a lot of damage, unfortunately, but still get some pretty neat combo routes, especially in the corner. I like the teddy bear. Honestly, that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about with Strive. I've been having a massive amount of fun with the game. I'm on the 8th floor on ranked already, which I think is pretty cool, pretty impressive. I don't know if there's like another tower. It feels like I've been ranking up super fast. Maybe there is. I know nothing about the ranks. All I know is that to get Celestial, you have to just be like god tier at the game, so I'm probably a long way off that. But I have been improving. I've been improving consistently, and I'm very happy about that. After playing like Marvel Rivals for so long, and then like Valorant before that, it feels nice to have a game where I can just get better at, not have so many issues with, and just enjoy it. Like, as long as I'm not playing against Happy Chaos, that is. But yeah, if you're looking for a new fighting game to play, or if you're looking to get into fighting games in general, like, I don't think you can go wrong with Strive. I really don't, because it's very easy to get into, I feel like. It's very easy to just jump in the game, click some buttons, feel like you're doing something. It feels like the perfect blend of, like, an anime fighter, or like Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Street Fighter. Where it's just like, there's not too much complicated nonsense going on. You're not expected to have lightning fast reactions. You're not expected to practice combos that go on for 3.5 days. It's just good fun. And yeah, I don't lab this game. I just get by on fundamentals, on outplaying opponents. It's great. It's a great time. You do really have to be willing to tread into the online battle mode if you want to get anything meaningful out of the game. That's my only criticism. I wish that they had made a proper campaign for this game. I wish that the arcade mode wasn't so goddamn terrifying. I do not want to have to fight against those boss characters solo anymore. I will throw rounds just so I do not have to. And I look forward to learning more characters, honestly. I wish the DLC wasn't so expensive, so I could play Slayer. He looks pretty fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on the game. So, peace out.